Today we're going to talk about the deload. I call download week, or some people call light weeks. It's just a combination of any names you want to call your week that you download the athletes to give them a little bit of rest, but basically it's active rest. And these are some of the methods that I implement during that week. And what you can do is just take some of these or all of them, however you want. I found these to get a response and be successful. The first thing that I do is I do a circuit. It breaks up the monotony of just training my athletes on a sheet program, and then I have a lot of variables in there on that circuit. So with each sheet, some of them will have, they hold their breath, and we'll talk about that. And I just lay it out there. The athletes come in, they do an extra long dynamic warm-up, usually that week. Sometimes they don't, they just get in and out, they do the circuit, and what you'll see is my circuits have a lot of contralateral movements. It really came and stemmed from the cross crawl patterns that I talk about. I go into extensive about my cross crawl contralateral circuits in my aerobic training information on YouTube page. You can check most of that stuff out there. We do these download circuits, we do them barefoot. Okay, then what we also do is I have these pads, just basically weight room flooring that's a 1/4 inch thick, whatever the thickness is. It's a little square pad, and they basically step on that and they'll do the contralateral movements. So they'll do a right leg lunge with a shoulder press or maybe a band row. They step on these pads, and these pads have stones placed on them, super glued. Now, do you need and this was the little fish, like the fish tank stones? I don't even think you need that. I just put some big heavy duty glue on there, made my own stones so it saves the stones falling off periodically. And then and there's no pattern, it's just make sure that the different parts of the foot that's going to be placed on there has that glue so it can basically deform the skin, which will help with a lot of proprioceptors and kind of facilitate the whole cross concept. The other thing that we'll do is we'll do these exercises. They're pretty safe exercises, but we'll also have our athletes do them with their eyes closed, okay, and I'll post the circuit along with this. And that circuit can be roughly about, I would say, 20 to 25 stations. My big circuits, when I do it for conditioning, are roughly 70 to 75 stations. And we usually keep our athletes' heart rates about between 110 and 120, somewhere in that range. You don't have to, but that's just where we're at. We also tape the mouth shut to facilitate nostril breathing, because again, I just said the heart rate is not going above 120, so you should be able to breathe through your nose at that time. And we're just taping the mouth shut to remind them they can always, there's no way that they're ever gonna have their mouth taped shut so tight that they can't breathe if they need to go through their mouth. We also make sure that they have the tongue on the roof of their mouth. Their tongue is also placed behind the front 2 teeth. Every third exercise we'll actually have them hold their breath, and I talk about this in my aerobic circuits on the contralateral on my YouTube page. But what we'll do every third exercise is we don't hold the breath, breathe in and hold. What we do is we blow all the air out, and they hold their breath until they feel the strong urge, in this case, to go back to normal breathing. And we usually do that about every third exercise, so they don't stop, they just keep going. Sometimes that'll spike the heart rate a little bit, which is fine as long as you keep it in the 110 to 120. As I said, you can even go 130.